Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Weaver. Welcome to the Audio Analyst. Pardon me. You know, there has never been a year quite like 2020 in living history. Certainly not in my lifetime. What a challenge it has been for all of us. It is my sincerest hope that you all had a joyous, peaceful, and restful holiday season, and that we all may enjoy a safe, prosperous, and happy New Year. Welcome to our first conversation of 2021. Now, today I am delighted to introduce you to a product so versatile and so overachieving that I simply must talk about it. And we all have my good friend, Dr. David Robinson, Editor-in-Chief of Positive Feedback, to thank for putting me on to this little upstart. Now, the iFi flagship product, the Pro iDSD, is a standalone DAC streamer headphone amplifier with so many options and possibilities that I could easily fill my typical time slot here just describing everything it can do. But since I really want to cover its potential and what benefits it may bring to you, I'm going to focus on why you should want to add one of these little monster performers to your hardware collection. Weighing it in at all of 4.4 pounds, it has a minuscule form factor. At just over 8.5 inches wide, standing not quite 2.5 inches tall, and with a depth of just over 8.25 inches, the rear panel real estate is understandably tight, with virtually no space unused. Starting at the left, we have the balanced XLR and single-ended RCA stereo outputs. Next comes the RJ45 Ethernet jack, just above the 4-position output selector, offering a choice of variable or fixed outputs at either 4.6 volts for hi-fi use or 11.2 volts for studio application. Next comes a USB-A port for direct USB drive connections, then a USB-B port for the typical USB connection from a server or a computer, both of which are self-powered and do not draw power from the USB bus they're connected to. There is a micro SD card slot, a coaxial optical input, an AES EBU XLR input, a BNC input, and a Wi-Fi antenna. Now, its networking options allow for AirPlay from iPhones, iPads, and Mac computers, and DLNA playback from smartphones, tablets, and computers running Windows or Linux. It also includes an external clocking device sync output with 3 syncing modes besides its standalone default, a DC loop-through option for use with other iFi Pro Series gear, and finally, the port for its dedicated 15-volt, 4-amp DC power supply. Oh, and all inputs, including the USBs, are galvanically isolated. Now, moving to the front, and we are ready for a master lesson in versatility. Again, from left to right, at the top, we have the stylized iFi logo LED indicator, which glows green for warm-up, white for solid-state mode, more on that in a second, orange for tune mode, yes, and red when it's in protection. The power button is in the lower corner, followed by the round rotary input selector knob, which also can control brightness of the display with repeated taps, and the polarity selection, 0 or 180 degrees, by long press. Next is the filtering and remastering selector. Now, aside from being able to natively handle file types up to 768 kHz PCM, double-speed DXD, and DSD 1024, one of this little DAC's most engaging features is that it can also upsample those files. You may select Bit Perfect, where the source file is played unaltered in its native format. You may choose PCM upsampling, where the PCM files are upsampled to 768 kHz using one of its digital filters, which I'll cover in a moment. Or finally, you may select what iFi has chosen to call DSD remastering, where all files, except those natively at DSD 512, are converted to your choice of either DSD 512 or DSD 1024. Now, beyond playing files in unaltered native bit-perfect mode, the available PCM upsampling filter options include bit-perfect plus, Gibbs Transient optimized, apodizing, and transient aligned. Now, sadly, I just don't have time to describe what each of these filtering options does, but they are powerful and they can be highly effective. I have included links in the description file here to help you with their understanding. You can see more information at the site. Then immediately below the filter selector is a 3-position output mode selector for solid state, tube, or tubed plus. Yes, that's right. The Pro iDSD's amplifier audio circuit is fully discrete and fully balanced and can be switched between either a solid-state JFET Class A input stage or its valve-based Class A input stage based on a pair of NOS GE 5670 tubes with a bipolar second stage and a MOSFET buffered bipolar Class A power stage. And finally, with the Tube Plus option, you are able to reduce the overall loop gain and negative feedback of the tube circuit to its minimum, restoring the valve's natural distortions, which accents their even-ordered harmonics. Next is the large central OLED display showing the Pro iDSD's varying status conditions, followed by its comprehensive headphone output section, offering both single-ended standard 1/4-inch and 3.5mm jacks, as well as a 4.4mm balanced jack. All three can be adjusted to offer either 0, 9, or 18 decibels of gain with the included selector switch. Next is the large, round analog volume control, a balanced Alps potentiometer motorized for remote control to control both the line and headphone levels when it's engaged. And finally, the IR remote control sensor is located in the lower right corner. Now, the Pro iDSD is built around 8 pairs, 4 per channel, of a Burr Brown hybrid multi-bit DSD DAC chip. This interleaved configuration allows up to 8 pairs of differential signals, the equivalent of 4 pairs of signals per channel, to be accessed and mixed. With its XMOS XU216 X-Core 200 series 16-core processor that handles all the digital decoding and offers bit-perfect processing, while all upsampling is handled by iFi's Chrysopia field-programmable gate array digital engine. And it is capable of handling studio-grade remastering up to DSD 1024, meaning that it has a sample rate 1,024 times that of Redbook CD. That's spectacular. Now, the logic and power available by using this specially programmed FPGA allows execution and functionality many, many times faster and with considerably less power consumption than similar programming instructions running on a general purpose application processor. Now, guys, I know that's a lot to take in, and honestly, I could go on in greater detail, but I hope that is enough to make clear just how bloody flexible and powerful the Pro iDSD is. Now, the best news here, guys, this astonishing assortment of versatility and performance carries a retail price of just $2,749 and is typically available from most outlets for less than $2,500. But let's talk about how it sounds, which, after all is said and celebrated, is what matters most to me. Now, after adding it to my reference system, which is detailed at my website at theaudioanalyst.com, and I have a link included in the description file, Alongside my reference Mola Mola Tambaki, I was more than a little blown away by just how well this little computing engine recreated music. Now, first and foremost, with everything set to the defaults, that is, with the solid state input selected and no filtering or upsampling engaged, just in its direct bit perfect mode, it was remarkably effective at rendering vivid yet relaxed, detailed, refined, fluid tonality, and at reconstructing instrumental layering, location, and sizing. And instrumental texture, as well as a natural, organic sense of flow to the musical gestalt, were presented with an amazing competency for this price point. Now, the result here was an overwhelmingly honest sense of physical space presented with a natural musical voice. But I wanted to taste everything the Pro iDSD had to offer, so I spent a lot of time fussing with all three output options, its 5 digital filtering options, and both of the DSD remastering choices. Now, rather than give you a nebulous impression of each and every combination, because, well, that would take a lot of time, and it also might take away some of your fun should you choose to buy into this device's magic for yourself. Now, I'll tell you about the combinations I found to be the most engaging or useful, and why. Okay? Now, given my predilection for the expansive space and naturalness I hear from direct stream digital files in general, I admit to being really interested in seeing what effect the purported studio-grade upsampling options had. Now, as it turned out, one of my preferred combos was the Gibbs Transient optimized filter with the DSD 1024 remastering option. Well-recorded classical, blues, or jazz pieces were rendered with remarkable presence, verve, and lucidity that was, well, so lifelike and genuine, so markedly coherent, that I found myself reverting to this combined playback mode quite often. The elevated degree of soundstage layering and of image specificity, size, and shape was distinct, guys. And there was something about the smoothness and flow that the GTO filtering option brought to the party, regardless of output mode, that I found addictive, especially with the DSD 1024 remastering option. Now, it was this combination of settings that most closely resembled the ease and liquidity of my reference DAC, the Mola Mola Tambaki. No, I'm not suggesting it rivaled that performance. It did not. But damn, it sure doesn't sound like any sub $3,000 DAC that I've heard, including some of the obvious overachievers from companies like Benchmark, Mytek, Prima Luna, or Shit Audio. Yet, as remarkably genuine sounding as that combo was, I cannot deny that some recordings, especially some of my favorite rock recordings from the 80s and 90s, like the Alan Parsons Project, Dire Straits, The Police, The Pretenders, even Stevie Ray Vaughan and Roger Waters, were just bloody luscious in the tube mode. I mean, that selection always brought out both a richer, fuller tonal characteristic and an enlarged and enhanced, but not bloated or overly ripe, sense of space that was hard not to relish, even though it also heralded a minuscule reduction in microdynamic expressiveness and shading, and an ever so slight softening of dynamic slam and scaling. Guys, based only on its sonic performance just 2 weeks into my time with my own Pro iDSD, yes, I bought mine, it's not leaving here anytime soon, I swear to you, I could have easily been persuaded that it could have cost anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000. And my appreciation for and enjoyment of digital playback with iFi's flagship DAC streamer headphone amplifier only deepened with the more time I spent with it. And once I isolated it with 4 critical mass system center stage 2 footers, its performance took a full step forward in every regard, becoming obscenely impressive. So why am I focusing on a non-hyper audio product here today? Well, I'll grant you that to the larger percentage of my audience, $2,750 cannot be considered cheap. Yet in the larger scale of the hyper audio section of the market I routinely choose to report on, it can neither be considered expensive. Now, while it is not lost on me that its price will be relative to the buyer's disposable income, that notwithstanding, this machine is clearly something special. It can fill so many needs across so many levels of user and in so many different roles that it would be insane to not point out and recognize its broad versatility of application. There are still many high-end analog-only music lovers out there who have never even begun to explore digital playback, and for any number of valid reasons, ranging from perhaps the assumption that they couldn't or wouldn't care to justify the expense necessary to begin to build a digital playback system that would compare with the performance they enjoy from their vinyl or tape playback systems. Yet for this brand of music lover, the Pro iDSD represents an affordable way to dip one's toes into the digital stream and get a sample of just how good digital can be today. For a listener like myself with a dedicated hyper audio reference system, its performance is so good that it won't embarrass, no matter where else it may be used. It will make a stellar contribution to any office, bedroom, or other secondary system. And if you have the desire or need for headphone playback in that bedroom or office, you may not find a more relevant and appropriate product on the market today. Then 2, look at the profuse and growing congregate of dedicated headphone junkies out there. Music lovers that simply don't have the space, inclination, or dough for the traditional in-room system. Now, while this option is not as important to me, with this level of versatility and sonic performance, it is a slam dunk winner for the headgear contingent. Then 2, for first-timers ready to dig into acquiring a good system, or someone succumbing to that upgrade path from a more modest system, perhaps. Many such music lovers are bound to find that this may just be the last DAC they would ever need. The iFi Pro iDSD does so much, so well, so affordably, that it offers a musical solution for just about anyone. I truly hope today's discussion will spur some of you to find a way to take advantage of its ability to help you to more fully enjoy your digital music library. I got to tell you, I use mine. I love it. It's a great little device. Great machine. Now, if you find any merit or value in the information I'm sharing here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share links to your favorite episodes with your friends. And please leave your comments and questions. I absolutely love hearing from you. And you may support the channel using Patreon, Venmo, or PayPal, or even by securing display advertising at the Audio Analyst website. And links for all options are provided in today's comment section. As always, thank you for taking the time to drop by and visit today. Please be sure and stay safe and keep the music playing. Till next week, cheers.